Lights, camera, action.
To be here. Thank you so much to everyone who made the time to come out here. Thank you very much, Camera Joint. I know that most people that already know me before now, I got messages and were, you two, you use Fuji. Do you use Fuji? Because it came as a surprise to a lot of people that I also use Fuji. And quite interesting because I have used Fuji for, this is probably my 5th year. Yeah. This is probably my 5th year. But then again, it's also very understandable because I don't use only Fuji. And I'm going to share the reason why I use Fuji and how I use my Fuji, right? And which is probably, will be quite different from, most of the presentation here. So, yes, my Fujifilm experience. And this is a picture of my daughters, Isabel and Gabriela. I use them here because really they are at the center of everything I do with my Fujifilm. I also use it professionally for work, but one of the things that, as my kids started growing up, I realized that I wanted to document their journey. I wanted to document them. I wanted to document the everyday things that happen in their lives. And I was looking for a camera that could effectively help me do that. That was not bulky, that was easy to use, that, that was great for low light conditions and all of that. I'm not a super technical person, so I'm probably not going to be like Bilos in any way. But I'm just going to share from my experience the way that I go about using my Fuji. Like I said, I've had the Fujifilm X-T2 since 2018. I also got it firstly because of, I used to shoot weddings a lot. I still shoot weddings, but not as much as I used to. And like Lumi said, most of the cameras that we use were very, very heavy. I mean, at some point, I had to sell my 70 to 200 because I was like, see, this thing is not functional anymore. Because, right, we can't be standing for hours and hours and you're carrying this heavy thing. It's just going to keep weighing down on your body and all of that. And I was like, there are still ways to get what we need to get. We don't have to be obvious that we're photographers. And I know one other person that really inspired me to even get a Fujifilm was Bernard Kalu. And, I see the way that he documents, with Fujifilm. So really, my primary reason for going into Fuji was to document. Like I said, started in 2018. I own the X-T2. I have the 23mm lens. And honestly, because I have not entirely been a Fujifilm camera user, I combine my Fujifilm with another camera, which I wouldn't be mentioning because, of course, this is Fujifilm. So I just, I use it only for documenting events, weddings, and my family story. And honestly, I really love Fujifilm. I love that it's one camera that I can just carry with me every single place. So anytime I'm thinking about traveling, in fact, anytime I'm thinking about, I need to have a camera always with me, it's my Fujifilm. You will never catch me with any other camera but the Fujifilm. And that's because of its ability, its portability, the flexibility, and it was just so much easier to use. And also, what Bilos talked about, the buttons, it's like ABCD, really. You don't need rocket science to understand this is where this is where this is. Just turn this dial, turn this dial, turn this dial. You've gotten your picture. You don't need a lot of things, right? So at the very, very core, that was and also I love that Fuji helps me to capture moments just without being obvious, right? Because it is important to me that I'm able to capture very candid moments. And we know that most people are very conscious when you bring a camera in front of them. So immediately you bring a camera in front of them, more so if it's a really big camera, they're already feeling what's going on here. Unless you're staying with them for a bit and then, But with Fujifilm, it's unassuming. People think you're playing, right? And you're going around and you're able to capture these moments. So I'm just going to share some of the images I've been able to document using my Fujifilm, and just share a bit about, why I love it, and, why I love what Fujifilm was able to do with it. So the first thing is flexibility and freedom in shooting different perspectives. I love that with Fujifilm, you can go from shooting here, shooting on top, shooting under, shooting it is super flexible. You don't have to worry about, you can literally sneak into a very tight corner and you still capture your image. You can get into one tight space, you still get. So that level of flexibility, I don't know any camera that can give you that. And that's to be honest. And truly, as a photographer, there is nothing as beautiful and as important as that. And especially if you're a documentary photographer, you know that you want to be able to enter spaces without being noticed, right? This was an image of a bride and her sister dressing her up. And I was able to get these three perspectives in maybe like 5 minutes or 6 minutes. I shot from the front, I came over the top, I shot her, I went under and I shot her. No other camera has been able to give me that level of flexibility as much as Fujifilm has. And truly, during weddings, getting ready, it's a no-brainer. It's my Fujifilm that I use all the way. So again, these are my daughters again. I was able to shoot from the top, and if somebody knows, you recognize a hand here, but yeah. Those that know. Okay, yeah, so just being able to do this. And I really didn't need to climb anywhere. That's the thing. I didn't need to. So it's not this one you're saying, where am I going to stack up boxes and be climbing? You're not like, no, I didn't need to do that. You had the EVF is so good. You can bring it out, rotate it, and you're able to still get what you want to get. And you see the beauty of being able to tell stories in this way is you're able to capture different things happening about the same time. And it just makes for a more interesting story. Now again, this flexibility without not being noticed this is my daughter, right? And I was and this is under the table. She was doing something all by herself. And I was like, how can I just, get this girl? The good thing about her is, she will keep doing what she's doing, whether you have anything in front of her or not. So she won't change her expression. But I was able to get this image from under a really small table, which I was able to just squeeze my camera in there and get that. And beyond that as well, of course, the dynamic range. I love the way Fujifilm is able to separate light from dark. I absolutely love it. And when you do black and white conversion with the Fujifilm, is just beautiful. It's just extremely beautiful. Same thing as well. Same thing, my daughter, I'm shooting from the top and just getting this. The dynamic range and the color interpretation, which the other two speakers, Bilos and Lumi has already mentioned, right? Fujifilm has a fantastic dynamic range. And I personally just love the way it interprets colors, on camera, even when you take it to post. And to be honest, with other cameras, you will really, sometimes you will struggle to just get seats to just the way that you want it on post. You're like, how do we took care? But with Fujifilm, you don't need to do too much. It's the way you're seeing it, that's the way it's just going to appear. And it's just beautiful to see. Yeah, I was able to shoot this, with the Fujifilm. This is a dark guy, and my bride was really light skinned. Because of the great dynamic range of the Fujifilm, you can't really notice. You can see the light is falling well on the groom as well as the bride without looking any washed out. Of course, I shoot raw, so there's post-production here. But then again, to be honest, there isn't a lot of cameras that can give you this interpretation where you're able to still get the skies, get everything in detail, and still you're able to get this up. And I didn't need to lighten any area of their face at all. I also love it for bridal portraits. I actually really love it for bridal portraits because when I shoot weddings, I love a lot more contrast on my images than when I do regular portraits in studio. And honestly, Fujifilm is just amazing. I don't know how to describe it, but it's just beautiful in its ability to give really, really great contrast. And of course, that's because of the dynamic range. Even when you're shooting portraits, I didn't have to. This was what was explained. You can see the fallout from the light part towards the dark. There's no sharp line. I didn't have to do any extra brightening on post or any of those things. But it still came out really good. And I really, really love it for portraits. Yeah, the portability and storytelling ability, which is very similar to its flexibility as well. Because it's so portable, it helps you tell better stories. And when you're able to tell better stories, nothing else differentiates you as a photographer than your ability to tell stories. Everybody can say, I'm holding a camera and I'm shooting. But what will differentiate you is how good are you in telling the story as it is and capturing those moments. And those are the things that the clients end up cherishing. Look at the images that, Lumi showed us. I'm sure it's some of us, when you were feeling the goosebumps, you were feeling the emotions. That's what Fujifilm does for you. Do you get what I'm saying? When you can go in somewhere, you can capture those genuine moments and the clients don't feel like you're imposing on their moment or you're imposing on, a special time they're having together. And, you can still capture that. So I was able to get this. None of them, they were not aware of what was happening. And again, the light was still, this was available light, obviously. There was just light coming in. You can see the Fujifilm's dynamic range is just amazing. There was just enough light coming to the bride's face, the bride is light, and the groom as well. On any other camera, trust me, this will not be like this. You will do a lot of work on post to be able to get even lighting all across, as this way. The kids were outside, they were inside a car, and the window was just wound down. These are my daughters as well, and this light is just the light coming from her iPad. And I was able to shoot this at probably ISO maybe 6,400. Yeah, and that's a great thing about Fujifilm. You can take the ISO as high and that was really important to me because flash was a no-no when I'm shooting my kids. And most of the time inside is dark, right? And you want to be able to have a camera that allows you that would focus, first and foremost, focus. Let's start with that. That will focus in a dark place, right? and still give you great images. No other camera does it better than Fuji. So really, in a nutshell, this is just my own personal experience as far as Fujifilm is concerned. And, for anyone thinking, oh, is Fuji right for me? I mean, there are so many reasons, more reasons why I love Fujifilm. And from what the speakers have even shared, you can tell affordability. In this day and time, really, trust me, there is nothing as important as affordability, because there are so many more things that you need to do with your money. So if you need to save on gear, why don't you save on gear? Like, it doesn't make you any special that you're spending millions to get, like, nobody is going to hire you based off the fact that you're using this, you're using that. No, they are hiring you because you're getting the job done. So get what gets the job done. Simple. Yeah, just get what gets the job done. And Fujifilm gets the job done. Yeah, so because affordability is really, and everything that has been listed, you can already tell that. And a company that pays attention to what the photographers need is important. It's really important, because in this age and time, it's almost like, most of these companies neglect that we are the primary users. We're the ones that are helping you make this money. So it's important for you to listen to us. So if a company is paying and investing so much in ensuring that they hear you, they understand what you want, they understand what you are saying, what you're complaining, and they are also putting it to action, I think it goes a long way. It goes a whole long way. So if you're considering it, I would say go for it for sure. Like Lumi said, of course, research and be sure of which is the best one for you. And it also has such a fantastic build, right? It's a very strong camera. And I'm just wondering, how can something be so affordable, gets the job done, takes great pictures, and it's really a strong camera. You will carry this camera everywhere. You bring it out, it will still deliver for you. Just forget, it will continue to deliver for you. You don't have to be afraid, no. And because it's small, you're not carrying around, you're worried that someone is going to hit you and the lens is going to fall out and any of that. So definitely go for it, because Fujifilm is the way forward. Thank you so much. So you can connect with me on Gazmadu and Gazmadu Education. And you can also send me an email at learn@gazmadueducation.com. When I'm not shooting, of course, I'm very much into educating photographers and creatives like you to up-level their skill sets and build successful businesses so that they can impact their world with their gifts. I do this through the Profitable Photography Business Program, the Versatile Beginners Photography Training, and also the Arts, Business, and Creativity Conference, which comes up every year. So I look forward to connecting more with everyone here. All right. Okay.
The question I'm about to ask is personal relationship with you and Fujifilm, the camera. Now, how do you feel personally when you go out on your job and you see fellow photographers who are carrying other gears that are bulky? And we know in Nigeria, when they hire you and you're with a small camera, the first thing is this what we paid for?
I don't go out to be noticed. I don't go for my jobs to be noticed. I go to do the job. When I do the job, I get paid to do the job. So my intention is not to be noticed. And also, when I am selling to the client, I don't sell my camera to the client. I sell my work to the client, because they are hiring me, they are not hiring my camera. So for that reason, there's absolutely no reason why I should be concerned about that. And when they know they're hiring me, they don't care what I'm using. They just know that I'm going to deliver on the job. And that's the most important.
Lights, camera, action.